Transforming a house into a home. Your home. Call 334-7317.
A 90% chance of showers and thunderstorms today, tapering off as the day goes on. But a quarter of an inch of rain is still possible. Winds from the southeast up to 25 miles per hour and a high of 67 degrees. Tonight, showers continue to taper off, mostly cloudy skies, overnight low of 48. Sunday's weather mostly sunny and a high of 66. Monday, sunshine and 73. Tuesday, sunshine and 80. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies and 86. Thursday, mostly sunny skies and 87. Friday, mostly cloudy, high of 84. Currently outside our Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio here on Park Avenue in Woonsocket, it's 60 degrees.
ON Radio.
Good morning and welcome to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan, along with my co-host Patrick Holland. Good morning, Pat. Busy prom night last night, Pat?
Yeah, prom night. Pictures, running around, waiting up. You know, everything that goes into it.
Yeah. So in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, we had a little bit of a prom night. Not a little bit, big one. Prom last night. So. All right, so we want to hear from you in the Chief Seats, 401-766-1240 here on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, OneSocketRadio.com. Let's jump right in. Let's get you caught up from Rhode Island and New England. Cumberland High School baseball will be coming out of the losers bracket tomorrow at South Kingstown in the Pod 2 Championship. They'll need the win today, weather permitting, and tomorrow to advance to the D1 state finals. Should Cumberland emerge victorious, the state championship will be at Rhode Island College beginning June 5th.
And Burrville, hoping to emerge from the losers bracket themselves in D2, will face Charahoe today in Charahoe. Winner of that game moves on to the Pod 1 Championship versus North Providence, needing 2 wins to advance to the D2 Championship, which begins June 6th at Rhode Island College.
Starting to see a trend with the start dates because in Division 3, Woonsocket has already advanced to the Pod 1 Championship. In the winners bracket, they'll need just one more win to advance to the state finals, which will begin June 7th, also at Rhode Island College. And these are all 2 out of 3 series, so the start times might differ depending on who's playing and what time. Correct. And everything like that. And we were talking off air. Hendrick and LaSalle cannot play for the baseball championship. They can only play for the Pod championship for the right to go play either Cumberland or South Kingstown. So
correct. That doesn't happen often.
No, so I'm sure there'll be an inquiry to the interscholastic.
And LaSalle did knock off Hendrick.
Yeah, so. LaSalle ranked number 13th in the country right now by Sports Illustrated. Take that for what it's worth. But hey, heck of a ranking anyway. So.
And in D3 boys lacrosse, Lincoln High School is advanced to the Final Four, and they will play Narragansett next week. Should they win that, they will move on to the championship, which will be played June 7th at Brown University at 4:30 p.m.
And, all right, okay, Division II girls lacrosse. Cumberland's in the Final Four, awaiting the winner of the Lincoln School, not to be confused with Lincoln High School, versus Middletown. Cumberland will play early next week, hoping to advance to the championship June 8th at Brown University.
Over in D2 volleyball, Lincoln High School is in the Final Four. They will host Westerly on Tuesday for the chance to advance to the championship next Saturday at Rhode Island College beginning at 4 p.m.
Looks like Rhode Island College is the place to be next weekend, indoors, outdoors. So, in the NCAA College World Series, URI played Dallas Baptist. And Pat, what time did that game start?
Just right before. So there's an 11 p.m. curfew. So they have to get a pitch off before 11 o'clock, or the game can't happen. And they got a pitch off at like 10:50 something. To play that game last night.
And the game was just delayed because of earlier games going along or weather?
I think it was weather and, so everything got just backed up.
So URI, though, Dallas Baptist got on the board first with a 4-run first inning. URI could not overcome that, ultimately losing 6-2. Like in the college softball World Series, baseball does things similar. They're hoping to stave off elimination. They'll play Little Rock this afternoon at 3 o'clock, but it's a double elimination tournament. But they are in the losers bracket, so they have a tough run in front of them. But that game will be at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
The other 4 New England teams in the NCAA tournament fared as well as URI did. Now all face elimination with their next loss. Fairfield lost to Coastal Carolina 10-2. It will face Florida today at 3 o'clock. Central Connecticut lost to Auburn 9-5. They will play NC State today at 3 as well. Holy Cross playing the number 1 seed North Carolina lost 4-0. They will play at noon today versus Nebraska. And Northeastern loses 11-2 to Mississippi State. Will play today at 1 against Bethune-Cookman. All games, I believe, can be seen on ESPN+. It's been a tough go for the New England schools in softball. The World Series last weekend and baseball this weekend. So,
Pat, I mean, what do you think?
Just to make it there, though.
It's great to make it there, but the Northeast schools, though, like I know, we talked again briefly, before the show. The field's been leveled a little bit in the sense of the year-round training, but I guess the old adage, you play, the South gets to play more than real games than up north, and you see some of these teams are playing 50, 60 games going into it
in their high school
in their high school
right?
season.
I mean,
so then
let alone when they're younger and they're AAU.
Right.
These guys, like you said, you can't replace actual game play.
Right.
When we're indoors pitching and hitting, they're outdoors still playing games.
Real games, right? Exactly. So it's showing when the 3 New England schools for softball and the 5 New England schools from baseball all make the World Series, and all 3 softball teams went 0-2 in their home, and all 5 baseball teams, like, no crazy upsets, and they're all on the brink of elimination. So it's tough. I don't have an answer because it's an outdoor game. You can't make it an indoor game up here and play year round. There's not enough money to build the domes, so it's
and like you said, I mean, I think it's gotten a little bit less over the years, but you used to see all the top players out of New England would go to a southern school.
Right, exactly.
Right, Vandy would come up and take all the top pitchers.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing some kids stay at home, but it's still, the draw is to go to these southern colleges.
SEC. So, all right. So, moving on from college baseball. If you have any thoughts on college baseball, been watching either the softball, baseball tournament, give us a call, 401-766-1240. What's a switch over from college baseball, though you did say Vanderbilt won last night. I think they're the team that
they won. It was a close game, 4-3.
Yeah. They're the team that, everyone always talks about Vanderbilt when you talk about Division I college baseball.
Yeah, they always seem to be
like
synonymous with, making it to the
they're already in next year's tournament.
Right, yeah.
All right, Worcester Red Sox, losers last night, 3-1. They'll have a weekend series versus Scranton Wilkes-Barre before returning home Tuesday for a week-long series versus Rochester. Worcester currently has a 27-27 record. Good for 4th place in the International League East. 11 games out of first. So good a time as any for our Roman Anthony update. All right, Roman Anthony. He has played in 51 of the 54 games. Some of them at DH, but mostly in left field after his shoulder injury. 186 at bats, 40 runs scored in 51 games, 57 hits, 8 home runs. I think he had 3 home runs this week. 23 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, a 3.06 average, 435 OBP, and everyone's all over the OPS, so I threw it in. 940 OPS. We'll probably get into more on Roman Anthony and the Red Sox, kind of continue the discussion on that. But, in essence, when is he coming up? And we can get into, greater detail after the break of when he's coming up, but and where does he play and everything. So, but they got to get him up, I think.
You would expect at some point he'll be up.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
Over in professional soccer, Rhode Island FC will look to rebound from a 1-0 home loss last weekend to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. With a road game today against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. This is the cup, the Jägermeister Cup, which is part of the champions. The Champions League.
Does it count towards the USL standings?
I don't believe it does because they mix in the USL champions and the USL 1.
Okay.
So, I don't believe it does, but
I get confused sometimes understanding what counts, what doesn't.
RFC returns home next Saturday at 7 versus Miami FC. They currently stand at 6th place with 3 wins, 3 draws, and 4 losses.
In the 10th place, but playing much better, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
New England Revolution with a 5-win, 4-loss, 5-draw, head up north to play the 1-win CF Montreal, which I guess CF is Canadian for football. They have to do it backwards.
Yeah.
Tonight at 7:30. So the Revolution playing a lot better soccer lately, and they started off slow.
They're leaving some points on the board. The last two games, they were up 1-0 in the 91st minute, and they gave up an equalizer. In the game before that, they were up 2-0 at the half before KC came storming back. Actually went up 3-2, and then the Revs had to come back and tie it up, which they did. So, they are getting points on the road, which is, ultimately, you want to get a point on the road and then win your games at home, and that usually equals success. So they're playing a much better brand of soccer all around, which is good.
They started, again, I don't know much. I don't claim to know a lot, but I do know that they started off, I think their first 3 games they hadn't even scored, or their only goal was an own goal or something like that, and they were dead last, and I think there's 15 teams in the Eastern Conference, and they've worked their way up to 10th place, and
they're right on that line of making the playoffs now. I think it's the top 8. Or there's a play-in. So
you're right, and a lot of time left in their season. They play right through the summer like baseball,
Until
right
October,
through October actually. Yeah. So all right, so we're coming up on a break, but Pat, I'm gonna hit you with a trivia question, and if you have the answer, it'd be great. I don't think you will, and if any callers have an answer to it, go to break and they can call in what they think is the answer. I heard this on the radio, hockey trivia, with Edmonton and Florida now in the Stanley Cup final. There is a link to Jaromir Jagr. What is so when we come back, we'll get into the Sox game. Winners last night, 5-1 over Atlanta. Nice win. But what is this year's Stanley Cup Edmonton, Florida matchup? What is the link to Jaromir Jagr? And here's a hint: it involves some sort of streak. And
I think he played for at least one organization that made the finals for the last however many years, at least probably maybe 10.
Okay, you're on a right path, but you're not where I'm going, because the streak is very long, and he may have, but the streak is very long. So when we come back, if you have a thought on the answer to that question, I'll come back with the trivia question. We'll get into the Red Sox and what's going on with them. Tough week this week with the Sox, and we'll hopefully get into some NHL as well with the Stanley Cup, and Stephon Diggs making the news. We'll see if we have time for that as well. So you're in the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin, and we'll be back after these messages on WOON, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and OneSocketRadio.com.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. And remember, there are no tariffs on the vehicles in stock at Tasker Buick GMC.
When you're ill and need same-day care, remember North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care for affordable and accessible care. You'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who will assess the problem and make you feel safe and reassured. Check their websites for convenient patient and medical forms, which you may fill out before the visit. North Smithfield Urgent Care, 594 Great Road, North Smithfield, 768-3400. And Lincoln Urgent Care, 2 Wake Robin Road, Lincoln, 333-9595.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Wholesalers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers.
Are you looking to beautify your property this spring? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Are you looking to beautify your home this spring? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. Before we get going, we'll leave the trivia question out there. What is the link with Jaromir Jagr in the Stanley Cup Final featuring Edmonton and Florida? Just remind me to make sure we get to that answer in case nobody else has a guess before the end of the show. But in the meantime, let's go to the phone lines, and I think we have Moose on the line. Moose, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Moose. How are you?
Good. I'm fine. I'm just going to take a wild guess at your trivia question
Sure.
and say that it has something to do with Connor McDavid. And being the youngest, this is a wild guess, being the youngest to appear or have so many points in the Stanley Cup Finals before Jaromir Jagr.
No, that's not it. No, it involves a streak, and I'm trying to give a good hint. It's a very long streak. Jagr had a long career, but we'll see if anybody else has any guesses. So you keep listening for the answer. But
I just popped up. I thought let's just try something.
yeah, no, it's a good guess. It's a good guess. I mean,
I thought it had something to do with Connor McDavid.
yeah, who's actually been playing well in the Stanley Cup and the
Yeah,
playoffs.
he's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
He's a pretty fast skater, that's for sure.
So you got some thoughts on your socks this week, Moose?
No, just keep the faith. That's all I can say. I'm exasperated. They finally won a game.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it. It was on Apple TV.
They looked okay last night. They looked like they could
know.
actually play baseball.
Like Kevin said, it wasn't on a local station over here.
Oh,
No, Apple TV.
So I said, oh, well, I can't sleep tonight. I have to watch the Sox. No, I'll find out in the morning, but I checked out the highlights. So
I am lucky enough that my wife has subscribed to every subscription service you could get, so I was able to watch it.
yeah.
So you were able to see Trevor Story hit the home run?
Yeah,
His first home run in 57 at-bats.
double
I was
deck.
passed out. I said, it says
Mayor
can't
Mayor
see.
made an outstanding play at third.
Really?
Yeah,
I seen that, and then I seen that screwy play at the plate.
Yeah.
With that throw from right field, and another thing about pulling Toro off
Toro
the bag.
off the bag.
Who is this guy?
They
El
reviewed it.
Toro.
Yeah, Abraham Toro. He's one of the many first basemen that have been
Yeah.
rotating through.
No, I know who he is.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's a hitting monster.
he was what 3 for 3 or 3 for 3
Who
last
is-
night?
Who is this guy?
I don't know, but I'll take him right now.
Keep
Yeah.
it going. He's got his
One
average
at a
up there
time.
right now.
He might strike out 4 times today. But,
True, true.
wanna be
Interestingly, about Abraham Toro, he's hitting 294 with a 294 on base percentage, meaning he has not walked yet this year.
Right.
a free
Well.
swinger.
Anyway, okay, gentlemen, I don't have much. I'll be listening, and I'll talk to you probably next week.
All right.
I'll
Thanks
wait
for
for
calling.
that answer.
All right. Thanks for calling
guys.
us. All right,
Bye-bye.
bye. The Mighty Moose joining us here in the Cheap Seats on 1240 AM and 99.5 FM. The trivia question, once again, is what is, with Edmonton and Florida in the Stanley Cup Final, there's a link to Jaromir Jagr. It involves a streak. What streak involving Jaromir Jagr? And it's not that he played for Florida, because he played for a lot of teams, especially at the end of his career. And he's known as a Penguin. And actually, I think he left played in Europe and then came back for a few years. I think he's still playing the KHL, but it has nothing to do with anything in the KHL.
All NHL,
or it's all NHL. So we'll leave you on the hook for a few more minutes, and let's just jump into the Sox. Okay, we brought it up briefly, Pat, with Roman Anthony, and you're reading articles on Breslow, what he's saying and why they're keeping him down. And meanwhile, you got Meyer up, you got Christian Campbell up. They're letting them work through their struggle, especially Campbell, who's been up all year. Meyer's just recently been brought up. What do you think they should be doing with Roman Anthony?
Well, I certainly understand. Step back. So
Get your thoughts.
Campbell certainly was a surprise, right, coming out, especially finding out more. And the more you hear them, this is a kid who I believe they said he played 1 year of high school baseball.
Yeah.
Went redshirted his first year at Georgia Tech. Played one season at Georgia Tech after that. Got drafted in the 4th round.
Yep.
and now he's in the major leagues. So.
Right. And an everyday player. He's played in 50...
He was 2 for 4 last night.
Right.
So
he's 231.
He's getting. He made some good contact. But Meyer is. I think they're high on him now.
You said they slid him over to 3rd last night.
He played 3rd the last couple games.
Yep.
Made an outstanding play on the line. For the 3rd out with I want to say it was a runner on 2nd. But I just don't know if there's room outside of, so Campbell is slotted to play first Sunday.
The Sunday I heard this
so
weekend.
It's gonna be his first game, and I think they're doing it because Crochet's pitching.
Yeah.
Let's put him at first with our dominant pitcher. Maybe there won't be as
Yeah. Well, he's gonna strike out people, so
yeah.
Be less
So it'll be less
chances.
action for him.
Right.
But outside of a move like that, where do they put him?
Well,
would you rather him come up and play every 3rd game? Their outfield is pretty good.
That's the other side of the argument that I wish people would look at. The other side of the argument is the Red Sox defensive outfield of Duran, Rafaela, and Abreu is as good as any defensive outfield
Without a doubt.
in the major leagues. If you bring up Roman Anthony and he plays left, now what you're looking at there is Anthony. He had a bad shoulder at the beginning of the year. If there is a knock on him, it is defensively in left field. So now you've just downgraded potentially one of the better or best defensive outfields in Major League Baseball, because in that situation you move in theory Rafaela into the infield, probably at second base, or if they.
But I don't think. I think
Story.
they've decided that's Rafaela is their everyday center fielder.
Okay, so
or if he has a day off, they slide over Duran. But
so then this goes back almost to spring training. Then Rafael Devers, he's holding the team. You could argue that he's the sole reason why Roman Anthony isn't up, because of his refusal to play 3rd, his natural position that he was upset that they asked him not to play 3rd, and his refusal to play 1st. Again, not the most difficult position to learn, but yeah, but he should be able to do it. So he's holding the team hostage, because you could put Devers in at 3rd, and you call up Roman Anthony to at least be a DH, and you don't disrupt the outfield that way. You agree? What do you think?
I don't touch Devers right now. I leave him where he is. He's batting almost 300.
Right. No, he's been
52
on fire.
RBIs.
Yeah, in 59 games.
And this is a guy who was 0 for.
He started the season.
Yeah.
19 strikeouts.
So
I
don't. I don't know. I get and it's I know they talked to the GM there, and he had mentioned hey, we got to do what's right for the organization, not what's right. Necessarily for the player today. I do think we'll see him at some point. It might be after the All-Star break, because I don't think there's really a need for him. And I'd rather have if Meyer's going to play 3rd and he's a solid defensive player, which he seems to be.
Yeah.
You're not losing much. You're losing a little bit,
but you got, and it goes back to Roman Anthony. If you've got a 21-year-old, and he is young, obviously, who's hitting over 300 with an over 400 on base percentage, just sitting in Worcester. Great for the Worcester Red Sox and Bill Wamless and their organization, and hopefully they can sell a few more tickets with him there. But that's not the point of the organization.
And I don't disagree. I think he's done a lot down there, but he's not like it's not like he's batting 390 with 26 RBIs.
Right, he's not a
26
triple
home
crown
runs.
candidate. But
Right, so it'll be one thing if he was just tearing it up, hitting a home run a game, multiple RBI games, going, game after game after game. So, which you're not going to see anywhere, right? But
right, but
I do think you see him up. I do think he's probably done all that he can do at every level.
Well, that's the thing.
So now it's like, are you gonna hold him back by not bringing him up now, or?
And one thing for sure, I agree with. If you call him up, you have to play him. I mean, you can't call him up to sit. So Campbell makes the team out of spring training. Now he's certainly struggling. Right.
You can't send him down.
No, they just signed a big contract.
Right. I mean, so it's like on the same. It's kind of like the opposite with him. It's like, well, you kind of like went all in.
Right.
Coming out of spring training, now you can't go like, all right, well,
Well, all right, speaking of all in, let's go back to Trevor Story. Yeah, he hit a home run last night. But I read this stat in the paper this morning. In his last 30 games, and it's tough that I heard the rumblings of it, but I didn't actually see it in writing anywhere until this morning. He entered last night hitting 131 in his last 30 games. That is not a small sample.
No.
That's 16 for 122.
The bottom three, I forget. I'd have to look at the box score, but between him, Campbell, and Rafaela, struggle city.
Yeah.
And they're all batting well below 200 in the last
30 games.
30 games.
I mean, he has 6 RBIs. I guess he might have a home
so
run
the
in
last
there,
four, I don't know, the bottom three, Story,
Meyer,
7, 8, 9, Story, Campbell, Rafaela.
Yeah.
But they were, last night they were 5 for 12.
So, all right, maybe showing some signs.
That's what they need. You can't have Duran, Devers, Abreu coming up with nothing in front of them.
Yeah.
Every time. Because you're going to have the nights where Duran goes 0 for 5.
Yeah, he had a game the other day. We was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, or 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. And Duran had actually gotten his average up over 280. He's back down in, 270, 274 right now. I think Duran's showing signs of coming out of it. I'm actually not worried about Duran. Don't like to see an 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. But
I mean, he struggled. I watched the game. These guys were, Holmes... It was like Junk City.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. And then they brought in this kid, Lee. I don't think he threw anything other than the sweeper or slider or whatever it was. It's filthy.
Yeah.
These guys were falling over, swinging at it. But, it's like, it's not like he's facing a guy who's trying to, blow it by him. I thought Giolito looked relatively good last night for the first time in a while.
We do.
We do have
a call. All right, so let's go to the lines. And welcome to the Cheap Seats. Who's on the phone with us?
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good. Who's calling?
This is Marty.
Oh, hey, Marty. How are you?
I said I know that
voice. I thought it was you, but I didn't want to guess. Wrong.
That's okay. that's not a bad guess. Listen, the only thing I'd say to you guys is, all I hear everywhere I listen is Red Sox fans lamenting.
Yeah.
Right? I'm an Orioles fan. Put yourself in my shoes.
Hey, you just swept the Red Sox.
Yeah. Great. The O's have great talent and no pitching. I think if each of us had like innings in our arms, they'd put us on their roster.
So what is wrong with your Orioles though this year, Marty? They got so much talent and they are so underperforming.
Pitching.
Yeah, again, I think it comes down to pitching. When Charlie Morton's on your staff as a 40-year-old, they let Corbin Burns get away too, right? They had
they had Burns.
Rotation. Right, so you had your stopper, you had your every fifth day, you run the guy out there and stop any streaks, and once you lost him to free agency, that kind of sent stuff sideways.
Right.
And the rest of the guys are young and just not proven at the major league level.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not sure how Gunnar is Henderson. I know there was a lot of pressure on him. I'm not even sure how he's doing. This year.
He was hurt to start the year. He had an oblique strain, and then Abby Reichman, your catcher, was out for a little bit, and now Cedric Mullins is out for a little bit, and
Mullins is a good center fielder too.
Yeah,
very good. Very good.
Yeah,
O'Hearn's hitting 335, so he's been kind of the light, light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it comes back down to arms and what do you got for pitching.
Right.
Yeah, it was like watching a high school game yesterday when we played East Providence, and you got guys at the end of your roster pitching. It was a great game, and they battled, but it's not like throwing your aces out there, you know.
No, and speaking of the team, we mentioned at the top of the hour, you guys got a tough one. You guys gonna be able to get the game in today at South Kingstown?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Sorry, tomorrow. Oh, the field. I mean, the field should be drained, no problem, down there.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, Old Mountain Field's a great place to play.
Oh, good.
4 p.m. tomorrow. I had a great game with EP yesterday. We came down to, they had a runner on third with one out, and they couldn't get him home. Andrew Nasser did a great job of shutting the door for us, and survive in advance. That's what it boils down to.
Right. Yeah. It's cliche, but it's so true. One at a time. Right. It's because you can't look at South Kingstown's a great team, and you can't look at it. Oh my gosh, we have to beat them twice. It's okay. Let's go out. Let's win tomorrow's game, and then then see what we got going into the next game, and then hopefully you guys can advance to Rhode Island College Friday night. So it's gonna be a quick reset on pitching, like you mentioned.
Right. Well, I mean, number one will probably soon. We'll go tomorrow, and then if you get through tomorrow, you go with your number 2 on Monday. But they're in the same boat, and everybody here's where depth.
Right.
Back to pitching, right?
Yep.
Here's where if you have depth, it'll bring you places. And not that not to correct my statement, but not that your 3 and your 4 aren't good pitchers.
Correct.
But these are guys who probably haven't thrown a lot of innings during the course of the year, maybe an inning or 2.
Right.
And now you're asking these guys who out to give you 4 or 5 innings to get to your next guy, and it's a lot to ask.
No, you're right, and it's just the way. Yeah, and it's definitely not a knock on your 3 or 4, but everybody knows. Okay, this guy's our 1. This is who we're relying on. That's going to be the game 1 starter in a state championship. This guy's our 2 or the first one out of the bullpen, depending on the situation. This guy's a 3. This guy's a 4. Everybody assumes a role. And it's not a knock on the 3 or the 4 at all, like you said. But it's just a little bit more pressure at the end of the year. Hopefully, they got good fresh arms and ready to go. And Marty, while we got you here, your lacrosse team's in the Final Four as well, huh?
Yeah, girls are playing at home Tuesday night against a very talented Lincoln School out of Providence squad. That'll be a 5:30 start at Tucker. A win there, and you get to play for the chip. I mean, our coach, she's in her 4th year. Avery Yang has done a wonderful job with our program. Her and Brittany Bodwin, the assistant. Brittany played at North Smithfield. And Avery actually played at Lincoln as well. So they're local kids who've done a real good job with our culture and our kids. And we're excited for them and the opportunity to play on Tuesday. And you guys know, you've been around a lot of sports, that semifinals is the toughest game you're ever going to play, because what's on the other side? What's on the other side, right?
Exactly. You can look at it, the championship is fun, but getting there, championship's like playing with house money. Like, here we go, you just throw it all out there, but the pressure's in the semifinals. I agree with that.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. So, all right, Marty. Well, good luck with the Orioles.
Thank goodness for the Orioles, meanwhile, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
guys, have a good day.
Thanks, Marty. Thanks for calling in. Good luck to
Great
baseball
show
and lacrosse.
Great show as always. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
thanks. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Marty.
Bye.
Bye. Friend of the show, Marty Crawley, and athletic director over at Cumberland High School, checking in. I kind of forgot he had mentioned a while ago that he's an Orioles fan, and it was looking good last year.
Right? Not many of them out there.
But I hadn't even equated the Corbin Burns loss to wow. I mean, that it's a starter every 5 games, and for those that haven't been paying attention, Baltimore is. What are they? They're in last place.
They're 15 and a half out.
15 and a half out, and they're well behind the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Put it this way,
About
The
6 and a
Orioles.
half,
Oh, at
7.
one point, the Red Sox in fourth place were closer to first than they were to last. That's changed just a little bit. The Sox are 8.5 behind the Yankees. The Orioles are 15 and behind the Yankees and 7 behind the Red Sox. So, all right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we'll finish up with some baseball. Maybe jump into the Stanley Cup final. We do have a trivia question out there. What is the link to Yarmir Yager and the Edmonton, Florida Stanley Cup final? Has something to do with a streak. That's probably the best hint. It's a long streak. How about that? It's a very, very long streak.
And when you talk about Yarmir Yager, we're not talking about streaking the quad.
No.
We're talking about consecutive years or okay.
Exactly. And we're not talking about the Casey's #1 song, the streak that nobody's ever heard of.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so thank you for joining us in the Chief Seat. We'll be back after these messages with more of your sports talk and more of your calls at 401-766-1240.
If you're traveling during your summer vacation, State Line Service reminds you that you're sharing the road with record numbers of motorists, many of whom are not familiar with the area. So be extra alert, observe posted speed limits, and expect the unexpected. From State Line Service and Tire Center, your full diagnostic center for late model as well as older vehicles, including the diagnosis of those check engine light reminders. Check tire pressure for better mileage, keep air filters clean, and always keep your vehicle well maintained. You'll save in the long run. State Line Service and Tire Center, a family business. 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket at the State Line. Woonsocket Door Sales, a fourth-generation family business, has served southern New England since 1935. They can handle all types of projects from the simpler residential installations to more complex commercial projects, always concerned with infrastructure and framework for the perfect fit. They even install doors for fire stations and medical facilities. Installation and repair. Woonsocket Door Sales, 767-3448. They'll remove and dispose the old doors. Woonsocket Door Sales, 767-3448.
Since 1948, their motto has been to give every customer the very best in quality service, as well as attention to detail. And that promise continues today at Michaud's Auto Body, a modern 5-stall facility with the latest in technology. Whenever you have time, please check their website at michaudautobody.com and take a short video tour of their modern facility. It's very interesting. Michaud's Auto Body on Privilege Street, Woonsocket, a second-generation family business. 769-1983.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Service Master by Gilmore. From water and fire restoration to mold remediation and emergency cleanup, we've been restoring peace of mind for over 40 years, now proudly serving all areas, including our newest service location in Rhode Island. No job is too big or too small. Day or night, we're here for you. Call Service Master by Gilmore at 1-800-783-0552 or visit us at the web at www.svmgilmore.com. Restoration done right every time.
You hear it all on ON Radio.
And welcome back to the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with Pat Holland. Almost forgot your name there, Pat. So just finish up our final thoughts on the Sox. Trevor Story, all right, maybe he hit a home run last night. So that's good. Maybe starting to show some signs of coming out of it. I wasn't a fan of the signing a long time ago. Felt like he only hit well in Colorado. So I don't know what to do with him. Even if you bench him, or as some fans on Twitter, those knowledgeable people want to just get rid of him. I don't know what you do.
I don't know who takes that contract.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to eat half of it at least.
Right. So I don't think that's gonna happen. I can see sitting him once in a while, and that's fine. But they're not gonna get rid of him. It's at least my opinion. And then it's not like Roman Anthony can come up and play short. Yeah, it's. He's being developed as an outfielder, potential designated hitter. So he's not your answer there. And again, if you want to disrupt the outfield, where when you've got one good thing going, and that's the Red Sox defensive outfield, you probably don't want to disrupt it. So you want to kind of keep that stable and then kind of build with that. And the catcher's doing good as well. I don't want to disrupt that. Yeah, Navarez. It was still hitting.
Long's back, although he isn't. I don't think he's I don't think he'll be an everyday catcher ever again.
No,
especially So he had a great season last year, but
right. But Navarez is stepped
ultimately I think they just need to try to be more consistent. You can't. They lost. I want to say it was like 4 out of the last 6 games they lost in a walk-off.
Yeah, and they are. It's something crazy. It's like they're 5-16 in one-run games or extra inning, run/extra inning games. Hendricks gives up a walk-off grand slam to Christian Yelich the other day, and I think it's the same day he asked for a bigger role.
Right.
On the team.
Now he's on the injured reserve.
Now he's on the injured list again. So if he's been pitching through pain, that's good for him. That's everyone respects that. But don't ask for a bigger role if you're pitching through pain and then ultimately give up the grand slam. So all right, so let's shift gears. If you got any thoughts on the Red Sox or baseball in general, give us a call 401-766-1240. But you want to head over to the Stanley Cup?
Sure.
That way. All right. Well, we got the Stanley Cup matchup starting Wednesday. It does not jibe well with my hockey night Attleboro schedule, but oh well. It's we'll have to make some allowances. But a rematch of last year. Good a time as any to bring up the trivia question one last time. We'll answer it before our next break. What is the link from Jaromir Jagr to the Florida Edmonton Stanley Cup final? Edmonton is the home team. They went 7 games last year. Good storylines going on. Canada, the country has not won a cup since '93.
Montreal.
And with the Canadians, and the the COVID year where they put all the Canadian teams in one conference,
Right.
that way forcing a Canadian team to play for the Stanley Cup. They couldn't do it that year either. The good story coming out of Florida is old friend Brad Marchand going for his second cup. Ultimately a good deal for the Bruins trading Marchand. Marchand's played in well over half of the games. The Bruins get their the number 1 pick now. Off of that
first
trade.
rounder from
from Florida. So 7-game series last year. What are your thoughts going?
Yeah, I mean
this year?
I think Edmonton is I mean they got talent. They're oozing talent, right?
Yeah.
They're still questions on their back end, I think, in terms of goaltending, which is always the case. Although they've played well thus far, but I think it gets negated by the amount of offense. But Florida is just built to win series like this. I mean, these guys, as much as you hate them, and I've said it for years, I hate the Kachuk brothers, but I'd love to have them on my team.
Of course.
Right? Just like Marchand.
Yeah, exactly.
But they are stacked. And I heard somebody talking yesterday about, just the way teams are configured now. And it's like, we pick up guys, and you look at Florida. They got Nosek, Greer on their 4th line.
Right.
Where those guys were like 3rd-line guys. Some of them, even Nosek was, I think, a 2nd-line guy.
Right.
But when you can have them on the 4th line because you got, all these other guys.
And just you brought up the lines where Marchand, I started going on to Florida for 1 second. He was a number 1 here in Boston on the 1st line. He's on the 3rd line in Florida. But back to your Edmonton point, they are that good. They are good.
They are that good.
They are that good.
But I think Florida is a tough matchup for them from a physicality standpoint. They will hit anything and everything. And even if you try to get into that game with them, they'll take it to the next level. Like I forget what it was. I think there was a game. Was it Aho? There was a questionable hit that he had on somebody.
He's always
in Kachuk. Literally for the last 3.5 minutes of the game, was taking runs at him.
Yeah,
took a penalty. And then they showed him in the penalty box, and he's literally pointing at his we don't forget,
right?
Or
exactly.
So for a play like Kachuk is, I think he's an elite player in this league, but he will take on that persona and go with it.
Yep.
All the way to the end. So it should be a great series.
Last year went 7.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I could see it going. I could see it going 7 just from the sheer. Edmonton could put 6 up. Especially if Florida's if they're gonna play on discipline and take penalties.
Right.
I mean, Edmonton, their power play is lethal. So,
right.
I think they got to be a balance of that. In terms of Florida, like saying like, hey, we gotta play our game, but let's not take stupid penalties. it should be a good series again.
Ultimately, I think I am rooting for Edmonton. I think it's gonna.
Yeah.
I think it's nothing against Marchand, who I love Marchand, but it's really tough for me to root for the Florida Panthers.
Again,
yeah. Do I want all the Panthers on the Bruins? Yeah, I would love them. And,
Yeah.
But
I'd like to see McDavid get his due. And
you show that some of these young kids can step up and win it. Austin Matthews is not doing that in Toronto.
It's funny, they showed a clip the other night, so they win. Right, they go out to get the Western Conference Championship trophy.
I heard about
Last year they didn't touch it. And typically most teams don't. It's like the big superstition, right?
Yeah.
And so they showed the clip was of somebody in Edmonton inside their stadium watching it. They had a watch party.
Yep.
And as soon as McDavid gets up there and he touched it, they were all going, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, no."
Yeah.
And they interviewed him after. He was like, "Hey, last year we didn't touch it. We lost, so
I can't do any worse, right? Exactly.
So yeah, it should be a good series.
Game 1 for that series is Wednesday night. All games are at 8:00. It looks like, and then game 2 Friday. Looks like they're going Wednesday, Friday, skipping the weekend. My guess is the NBA might be chiming in.
Sure.
Game 3 will be Monday at Florida. Game 4 will be Thursday, June 12th in Florida. And Friday will be back, so they are going good. I was like this, the 2-2-1-1-1. They've always done that.
Yep.
Anyway, and so the series can go from June 4th to June 20th, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, finishing up on a Friday, if necessary, Game 7, Friday night, June 20th. So it should be a good series. So, if you're not a fan or if you haven't been watching, tune in. It should be a good series. Some good skill on Edmonton, good physicality on Florida. 2 different styles. Edmonton can light it up really quick, like you mentioned. Florida's just not going to let them walk in on them without taking a shot or two. So we're gonna take one more break. We'll come back and finish up with the hockey. Got a couple thoughts on the NBA finals, and then whatever else.
We'll give
might
the
be on
answer to
your
the
mind.
trivia question.
Should I do that now or when I come back?
We'll do it. We'll do it when we get back.
When we come back, the answer. So if you have a thought on the trivia question, the link, the Armory Yager to Edmonton, Florida series, right after this on the cheap seats on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, and OneSocketRadio.com.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. And remember, there are no tariffs on the vehicles in stock at Tasker Buick GMC.
Don't look now, but spring is right around the corner. Get out those golf clubs and head over to Lewis Quistit Golf Club, located right in the city of North Providence. Lewis Quistit offers a stunning 9-hole course designed by U.S. Open champion Ken Venturi. Whether you're looking for a fun, challenging round of golf or just a relaxing day surrounded by rolling hills, oak trees, natural wetlands, this is the perfect spot. With tee times available 7 days a week, fantastic court conditions, and a welcoming atmosphere both for members and the public, Lewis Quistit is a place to be. And after you're around, don't miss out on great food and drinks at the Pub on One, complete with a scenic golf course view. Contact Lewis Quistit Golf Club at www.lewisquisitgc.com or by calling 401-353-1620.
If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them, Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
On OWN Radio.
And this week's specials at Michael's Meats. Michael's is featuring extra lean sirloin pork cutlets for just $2.77 a pound at Michael's Meats. Welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I got a text on a prediction. Pat and I, we agree with part of it, possibly. Florida in 7. I still think Edmonton wins. Oh, what was your prediction?
I didn't make one.
Oh, that's why I don't remember it. What's your prediction?
I think it's going to go 7.
Who's going to win? Somebody has to win.
If it goes 7, I would go Florida.
Florida on the road in Edmonton for Game 7.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So 1 Florida, 1 Edmonton. The prediction is Marchand would win in his second cup, so you agree with that. And then it says the Bruins sign him to a 1-day contract and he retires as a Bruin. I don't think that happens this year. I think that's one of those. I think he plays another year in Florida, especially as a third-line guy. Florida's returning their players. I don't know their contract situations. But I think if he's going to be a third-line guy, I think Marchand will accept the reduced role, challenge for another cup, play the third line, be happy about it, probably get suspended for 5 or 6 games somewhere in the middle of the season, take a little vacation.
Why wouldn't you keep playing that?
Right. And then, he'll be remembered as a Bruin. He'll probably have his number retired. I think he ultimately will make the Hall of Fame. You think of Bobby Orr as a Bruin, not a Blackhawk. You think of Wayne Gretzky as an Oiler, not a Ranger or a St. Louis Blue or even an LA King, right? So Marchand will be remembered as a Bruin. So okay, well the answer to the trivia question, what is the link to Jaromir Jagr to this year's Stanley Cup final, including this year's Stanley Cup final for the last 45 years, a teammate of Jaromir Jagr in the NHL has played in the Stanley Cup final. So Jagr played quite a long time, I think over 20 years in the NHL. So this goes back to, 45 years ago. So what year would that be? I was about 10 years old. So going back to like 1980, the 79-80 season, one of those players in the Stanley Cup final back then, which may have even featured the Islanders and... Oh, boy, I can't remember. I think that was the Islanders before Edmonton. Maybe Islanders versus Edmonton. And I think the Islanders won. They were on a 4-game win streak back then. One of those players in that was a future teammate of Jaromir Jagr.
Sure.
And a past teammate, probably from Florida, because that was Jagr's last team.
I think it might be Barkov.
Barkov, okay.
Because I think he was an original Florida Panther draft pick.
Okay. And that was in Jagr's last year. So for 45 consecutive years, a teammate of Jaromir Jagr's has been in the Stanley Cup final. So all right, so I'm going Edmonton in 7, winning at home. Good for Connor McDavid and the long suffering Edmonton Oilers fans. Well, not that long. They had the Gretzky run, but been long enough. They've been suffering. So and the Cup returns to Canada for the first time since 1993. So I wonder how the Montreal Canadiens would feel about that. They've just been irrelevant. Montreal, they were a little bit better this year. But all right, so in the time we got left, we got the NBA. You still got the Eastern Conference Finals. You got the Knicks are playing Indiana tonight.
In
Indiana, it's Game 6, and there's always something up with the NBA. How the ping pong balls drop for the draft lottery. You got referees saying, I saw this one where referee was mad at Allen Iverson going back, many years ago, and called travel on him every time. Got the whole crew. In essence, they fixed the game.
Yep.
You got Donaghy, a former NBA ref, that has admitted to fixing the games. I'm not usually one of those conspiracy theorists that think the games are fixed. However, the NBA cannot be thrilled at looking at an OKC, Oklahoma City Thunder, and an Indiana Pacers final for their TV numbers. That is as mid-America as you can get, without New York, without Boston, without Los Angeles, without Golden State. I think they want to keep the Knicks around as long as possible. I would not be surprised tonight to see a Knicks win in Indiana, and then their fingers are crossed that the Knicks can pull the upset in Game 7. Any thoughts?
No, I mean you're
I'm way off base.
You're like the super conspiracy guy. I mean, I certainly think there's something to be said about, I think referees do certainly key in on points of emphasis when it feels right for them. Like, it's like if you see a carry called and it's like, have we seen, like, that's been called once in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
But you see it like out of the blue. I don't know. I think this, the Knicks came out the last game on fire. Halliburton only took like 6 shots, which was bizarre.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't. Who knows? I mean, I think. I think if Indiana needs to win tonight, if they don't win tonight, then all bets are off.
Right.
Anything can happen in New York, especially with that fan. I mean, as much as we hate New York,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and I do. I can't stand New York fans.
Right. We do like Tyler Kolek from Cumberland.
We do like Tyler
I think he's
Kolek,
on
yes.
the bench for the
Yes.
Knicks.
But you know, you don't want to go back to Madison Square Garden
Right.
for a Game 7 and just allow, you know, anything to happen,
Right.
because anything will happen, and that's the challenge. So Indiana has to come out tonight and, you know, basically lock in on the defensive end, and you know, but the same could be said. I mean, if you think back about the Celtics when they played the Knicks, you know, there was that game that you know, Brunson fouled out.
Right.
He had like 4 fouls in like 1 quarter, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, when was the last time that happened to a guy like that?
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't. So, yeah, I mean, there's something to be said. I'm sure the NBA is like, this isn't great, but what are we going to do? Let's try to do what we can. Let's try to draw this out if we can.
And for me, this is the most conspiracy theorist I've ever come up with, and it's only because of a shadier past with the referees, but admitted shady.
That
past.
wasn't like an NBA conspiracy. That was
no, that was a referee
the
conspiracy.
referees making money.
But they just cannot be happy. TV rating wise, you know, it's to have OKC in Indiana. Yeah, and you know, for the basketball fans, it's great. There's nothing wrong with it. They're always trying to get the extra eyeballs, the casual fan, like the Super Bowl does. You know how many Super Bowl watchers are true NFL fans?
I mean, even look at it from even if you look at the WNBA, right? You got Clark, who plays in Indiana. Their tickets are selling for upwards of $100 a game, if not more.
Yeah.
She gets hurt. It's like $30. You
Right.
can get it. You can go watch them play now. So.
Yeah.
There is that draw to certain play, and I think league-wide there's a little bit more consistency across the board for these teams. So I mean they'll get the draw certainly from OKC and Indiana for sure. But will everyone else tune in?
Yeah,
maybe. I mean I like Indiana's brand of basketball. OKC I don't mind. You know, I'll watch.
Right.
I think the West is a completely different. It's like hockey, right? The East, and you watch West Coast, it's so much faster.
Yeah.
Which is why when they
styles.
beat each other in the final, it's like,
right.
You know, it's like roller derby. You know, like the Eastern Conference guys are like, we're super physical, and these guys are like, wait, we're supposed to have open ice.
We should do a roller derby show sometime.
Oh, there we go.
That would be fun. Really quick, the time we got left, we didn't get to Stephon Diggs. David Andrews is retiring officially from the Patriots. I think there's a press conference coming up on Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Yep.
Major League Baseball partnering up with what's called Athletes Unlimited softball. And if you're watching the NCAA College World Series, they're selling out a 13,000 seat stadium. The ratings are
for softball.
For softball, sorry.
Oh yeah.
The ratings are incredible on ESPN. They're not jamming it down your throat. Like I think sometimes they do jam women's basketball down your throat. NCAA tournament. It's a good product, but it's like you can see that the games aren't necessarily sold out, and the ratings don't always do that well, especially like in the early rounds of the women's tournament. I think this partnership with MLB, with Athletes Unlimited, which has been a brand for the last couple of years anyway. It's just kind of like a touring professional softball. They play a bunch of teams. I think this has a chance to catch on with the funding of MLB behind it,
which will bring in additional funding. Yeah,
so,
I mean it certainly legitimizes it a little bit more, rightfully so.
Yeah,
I think some of these, you know, I mean, you're certainly into it. Your daughter plays. You watch. I know we watch games at your house and stuff like that. I've tuned it in a little bit. I mean, these girls they're athletes. They're
real good
really
athletes.
It's different than watching baseball.
It is.
It's a different style of play.
It's
There's
fast.
more. It is fast, but there seems to be more. It's more small ball driven too,
Right.
which
No, you got
is like
slapping,
old school
you got
baseball.
bunting,
So
it's
there's a little bit more
a lot
X's
going
and
on.
O's to it. Than,
Yeah.
I
think it'll catch on. I don't think they're not gonna play a 35,000 seat Fenway Park,
Right.
But a 10,000 seat stadium.
Yeah.
The RIFC Centerville Bank Stadium, if that could be configured for softball, it might be something like that. And I think it catches on. And it also gives the women another chance, which with basketball, they got the WNBA, they got overseas tennis, golf. You can be a woman professional athlete, make a lot of money. The softball players are really good. They got I'm drawing a blank on her name. She's throwing 79.4 miles an hour. This is the fastest in recorded history.
Is that the girl from Texas? She's in college, right?
Yeah. Is it Texas or Tennessee?
One of those.
Yeah, I think
the colors. I think it might be Tennessee. You're right.
So, who won last night as well? So I think it's a real cool partnership, and I think they're going to be going to 8 cities starting next year, and starting with like a small schedule, and then seeing where they're going. Even hockey, you got the Professional Women's Hockey League, which just finished up, and they had another successful season. They're expanding, and they did well. Most importantly, they're doing well like at the arenas, at the field. They're selling lots of tickets, and there is a TV audience. It'll never be as big as TV audiences were back in the 70s. There's just too many options out there with the streaming and all the other sports and everything. So, but I just think it's a great opportunity. So, all right. So we are at the end of the show. I think we're both back in studio next week.
We are.
Wow, right. Yeah. 3 weeks in a row. So that'll be great. We want to thank, Moose and Marty. Marty Moose? That's Marty Moose from Vacation. Moose and Marty.
Wally World.
Wally World.
Sorry.
Sorry, the Moose House. I should have told you. Anyway, well, I thank Moose and Marty for calling in. And hopefully we'd like to hear from you in the future as well at 401-766-1240. And you can join us in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin. Have a great weekend. And thank you for listening on WOON 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and OneSocketRadio.com.
WOON Woonsocket.